going the extra mile for everyone else. So, Luke, tell us tonight, what is it that you'd like to be supported with? What is your goal slash challenge?
Okay, I'll tell you my outcome because I have thought about my outcome. My outcome is that I want to be paid, professionally paid for coaching by the end of this year, or let's say by 2026, and I want to be recognised and known as a compassionate coach. How's that? I think that's fairly specific.
Yeah,
in
that's
what
very
area?
Sorry?
A compassionate coach in what area?
Not in any. I don't think it has to be in one particular niche, but I think the compassion is my area that I want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And
Does
is
that
there any
mean-
specific challenge
is
around
that
that?
what you bring to the session, or is that the methodology, or is that who you are as an identity when you're coaching? What is it? Tell us more.
That would be my identity as a coach. I think that's really what I wanted to be. I mean, I only thought of that while I was saying this because my idea was just to say, I want to be a paid coach by 2026. But I also want to be known as, in particular, for a compassionate style of coaching.
Alistair, I thought I spoke as you were.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, sorry, Carl. I was just going to say, is there a particular challenge in becoming this coach that you need our help with?
Yeah, the challenge is that I've done the courses, I've done NLP courses, I've done Tony Robbins courses, I've done how to be a coach courses, I've read all the books, I know what to do, but I just don't really put it into action.
Okay.
So I need the impetus to get over that hurdle and actually do it, I think. And
I'm happy to be proved wrong here, but my impression of the coaching industry now is that there's too many people being coaches and not enough people wanting to be coached per se.
okay.
But people want outcomes, and they might need a coach to get them there. So in order to be a successful paid coach, you have to sell the outcome, not the coaching.
Okay, that's very insightful, yeah.
So I would think about what, to be honest, in a way, it sort of undermines the need to be even a qualified coach, because basically as soon as you get to the point where you've sold someone on the outcome that you can help them with, they don't care whether you're a coach or not. They're bought into the fact that you can get them to that end result, which you may use coaching skills with. And I think unless you're going to become an executive coach, where effectively you can sell into an organisation that you can coach their staff, I think, and that is an option for you. But if you're going to sell sort of coaching to the general public or for a particular outcome, I think is potentially the way forward.
Okay, thank you. That's great. I will definitely consider that.
Is that the core challenge, finding paying customers?
No, I'm not sure because I haven't done much to really find any customers apart from build up my own skills. I haven't crossed that gap of doing all the training and then saying, right, I'm here. Where's my people? Bring them on. I haven't really.
But right now, how you feel is the greater challenge finding customers, or is it wondering if you'll be able to coach them effectively?
I don't think I'll have a problem in coaching effectively. I think it's more finding customers. Yeah, I would say finding customers. Where do I go to get my first customers? And what do you say? What do you say to the very first customer when they say, "Who have you done this for? How many times have you done this before?" Oh, you're the first.
Again, I think all those problems come up when you try and sell coaching.
Yeah.
And the questions are less relevant if you can talk about an outcome in confidence that you can get someone to, and then you end up specializing in that outcome rather than specializing in the coaching.
Okay.
And also you can value your coaching based on the outcome, not on coaching. So you can charge a lot more, essentially, provided you pick an outcome that's profitable enough.
Okay. I like that.
I would just say your outcome for me isn't strong enough. What I mean by that is when you said you want to be paid, can you give me some idea of how much or how many customers you want to have, how many hours a week you want to be doing it, that sort of thing?
Okay. I want to be doing it at least 10 hours a week, and I want to be paid. I want to be able to make £2,000 a month from coaching. I haven't done those sums, but let's work that back. 10 hours a week. That's at least 5 sessions. 5, 20. So it's £100 a session is £50 an hour.
So just to let you know, if you sell it based on an outcome, you don't have to sell it on number of sessions.
Okay.
So you then avoid the conversation where you're charging X amount per hour, which blows some people's mind. And you basically sell it on the outcome, which could mean you're doing 2 hours for 20 grand, or it could mean you're doing 20 hours for £2,000. It's all about the outcome, basically, and not the number of sessions. So you generally charge a lot more, and you can say, well, most people normally need like 3 sessions for this or whatever it is, and I would generally happily give, say, 6 or 9 if that's what they need. But they're following your process, so it tends not to need too many more.
Okay.
If you've got a proven outcome to get to an end result, then you're not just sort of flying in the dark sort of thing. You're not just waiting for them to get there. There is actually like a formula that they're following.
Okay.
Harry, haven't heard from you.
Yeah.
Lena, haven't heard from you.
There's a lot to think about here. As somebody who spent thousands and thousands of pounds with coaches, somebody who's had more coaches than hot dinners, I generally in life will go through 2 coaches simultaneously. I've got a health coach, I've got a business coach, I've got a life coach. I love this stuff. I'm your typical, stereotypical customer here. I'm going to give you advice with real... Me being the guy I am, I like helping people early on. Like, so offering this... I know it sounds corny, but saying, look, I've got 5 spaces. I need to get... Just being so authentic. Saying, look, I need 5 people so I can get off the ground. It's going to be half price. People don't care about the price. Say, look, it'll be 20% off. Whatever, because you're so likable. You've read every motivational book on the shelf. But that doesn't count. What you need is real changing people's lifestyle. And I kind of agree that you need a stronger proposition. Money back guarantee, outcome based. I don't know, like start with an offer, be brave. Start with an offer, put it out on LinkedIn, put it out on Facebook, say I'm looking for 10 friends, 5 friends that will just go with this, have a challenge, and they don't have to pay me if I can't figure it out. Can I tell you my first coach, how it happened, or would that help?
Just before you do that, Luke, your microphone is so sensitive. You're breathing, and it's breaking up what Gary's saying. So, that's it. Oh yeah, go Gary.
So I was in the post office. I was around 30. I'd never had a coach before. Around just over 30, 31, say. And there was a lady called Miss Bartholomew, and she had a lot of packages in her hand. And it was at the post office. I remember it like it was yesterday, but it was 30 years ago. She dropped the packages, she dropped all the little boxes, and I helped her pick it up. And we got talking, and she said, "I'd like to do something nice for you." I said, she was a great lady, very sharp. And I said, "I don't need anything, I'm good." She said, "I'm a coach, I can help you." And I said, "Look, I'm Greek, we don't need coaches, we've got grandmothers for that kind of stuff." Because there must be something, there must be one thing in your life that you need help with. I said, "Yeah, but you can't help me." She said, "What is it?" I said, "Look, I give too many discounts at work." And she said, "I need 8 sessions, I'll fix it." I said, "All right, let's go." So it was a self-worth issue in the end. She fixed me, and I'm very grateful for Grace Bartholomew. That was the first coach that I ever had, and then I just had, like I said, there's not a month that goes by without me having a coaching session of some description, whether it's free or paid for.
Okay, thanks, Gary. Yeah.
Don't much help.
So maybe, shall I go? I've been involved with, or sort of got really sort of deep into Dean Graziosi, who is a partner of Tony Robbins. And I'm not sure whether you're familiar with his work, because he works in marketing, yeah? And he is a very in favor of creating a value ladder. So basically creating different products for different segments of customer groups. And because there are always coaches there as well who start off as coaches, he strongly advised, and I'm just saying what he's saying, right? This is not my thing. He says it's very advisable to create, to find a niche for yourself where you are coaching, and you might start off saying you do this, but you actually realize you get results there, or there is a demand there, and you're able to fulfill it. But he really recommends coaches to go to find their niche, and also preferable go higher end rather than lower end in terms of customers. Again, that's what he says. And as regards to, you said you haven't done anything, you want to do it, but you haven't done anything. That is basically inaction. And through going all my notes over the years, I've come across a really interesting one, which is emotion leads to action or inaction, and emotion is created by beliefs. So there is this kind of relationship. So if you think you want to do something, but you're actually not doing it, and there is some sort of belief there that probably needs examining. So that would be that. Value ladder. Oh yeah, he says as well, when you start off as a coach, it might make sense a little bit what Gary said. It might make sense to maybe offer, the first 1 or 2 sort of coaches free sessions, and then obviously deliver a result for them, very much like what Adam says, and then ask them for a how do you call it? Not a review, not a recommendation. How is it called? A
Testimonial.
Testimonial. That's right. That's the word. Thank you. Because then you can actually put some evidence behind, what you are claiming, and it doesn't say whether they paid or not, but you have some testimonials. That's something he recommends as well. And also what he says, and I mean, Adam, I think, is so well placed for it because he knows what's going on there. It's a lot of it in coaching is recommendations. So it's word of mouth. So it really is tapping into a customer segment that actually is able to pay you, and then recommends you to the next best, I don't know, colleague, business partner, which then sort of creates a funnel for yourself as well. And I'm just sort of thinking there was one other thing. Outcome based, I totally agree. I think it's a little bit what Tony and Dean say. Give them what they want, but also what they need. So when you say you are a compassionate coach, you are giving them what they need, but you need to start with giving them what they want, and that is outcome based in a certain area. So that would be my contribution.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question, Luke?
Yes.
Is anything coming up for you in terms of, I don't really want to call it a niche, but like an outcome that you would be very comfortable with getting someone to?
There's not an immediate one that comes to mind. There's a couple I'm thinking.
Because I mean, you want to try and think of the most valuable one, and some of those ideas might stem from what you're currently doing as a career, like coaching people in that, because ultimately it all comes off of credibility. So a lot of people will, particularly if you're at the point in your career where you're at a senior level, you could coach someone to sort of follow to some degree in your footsteps, or that type of thing, or in something you've done in your past that you could sort of talk someone through, would be along the lines of what I'd try and focus on. And as Helena pointed out, you can have that as your sort of the foot in the door thing, and once you're in a relationship with them, you could get them into effectively other programs. But I would definitely try and think of the highest value thing you can think of now, because if you do it the other way around, if you try and go in low just to get some experience and build up, you'll never, or it would take you so long to get to any credible sort of level of income. But if you start with the end in mind, you can always have lower tiers to get, say, for example, your top tier was a 10 grand program or something, significant. You could find one client potentially that did that, and then, you can then sort of maybe have a 5 grand tier and a 2 grand tier and a £500 tier once you know where you're going. But it's hard to sort of do it the other way around, where you start off with a freebie and try and work out where the hell this is going for something bigger.
But saying that, there's no chance of getting a 10 grand
and it comes
client.
down to what lights you up in this regard, and have you sold something to someone that you felt really like, I was in my zone, I've just because it was something I had experienced, something like that, and how can you evoke your passion into this?
Yes and yes. I've sold things for people in the past, and it's generally been about changing life direction. People who are on the wrong path, being able to put them on the right path, and change their mindset about the whole world's against me. Nothing's ever good for me. I'm going to get this. I'm never going to. This is why I'm in this position. That's what I'm good at helping.
What position would you describe them in then? What's their sort of current circumstance that they find? Give me a customer avatar for that. What is the circumstances that sort of person finds himself in? Where you can help
well, it might be a teenager that's left home about 19, 20. That's feels they don't have any support, and they're turning to not doing such brilliant things like going out and taking drugs everywhere, or that type of thing.
That's one avatar. Give me another one.
Another one is just people who feel that there's not much hope for them. They haven't got much happiness. They can't see how they're going to overcome something. Like people who I coach a lot of girls about relationships, for example. They'll come to me and they'll ask me, "Oh, you're so understanding." I say, "Why doesn't he love me?" And I don't, that type of thing. I'm good at getting people to see past that, I guess, in a way.
Luke, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I shouldn't assume this. How is your social media game, sir?
Terrible.
And do you have?
It's really terrible.
All right, well that's honest. There's the only way is up. Other than that, have you got a Google Business Profile sorted out? Okay.
No, I haven't done any advertising or any marketing whatsoever.
It's the easiest thing in the world. Like I helped a young man start a, not quite the same, but he was a PT, personal trainer. And he didn't have anything, and he started a Google Business Profile, and he got a phone call within a week. So he done well. So this thing is easy to set up. It's called Google Business Profile, and then on there you can get people to give you reviews, and it gives you a link, and you're quite techie, so you'll be fine. I would definitely start with a Google Business Profile. I can phone you next week to see if you've done it, because it literally will take you 10 minutes. I'll hold you accountable. That's a really good start, and it helps locally. If someone types in your keywords, they'll have your number, and that's a really good start. And think about Google Garage, Facebook, do some free courses, LinkedIn, do some free courses. I'll send you a free, I think I sent it to you, but I'll send it again, because you've got to be visible before you can start anything. Yeah. Nobody knows what you do. And if you just rely on your friends and your mates, that isn't a real business. You need strangers to turn into customers. We're very lucky that social media is the one. Maybe, like, I'd love to see you with your own YouTube channel. It'd be brilliant.
Okay, that's some really good things there, Gary. Yeah.
Say what's going to ignite your passion for this, because at the moment you're in a sort of passive mode, and I want to see you like really like, this is it, I'm going to make this work, I'm going to get this out there, I'm going to do this, I'm going to break. Because for me as well, I'm asking myself the question, what am I willing to hustle for, right? What am I actually, is going to make me wake up in the morning and go, right, I'm going to get on with this, I'm going to make this happen, because I don't have that right now with my current business, right? So I can operate and get on with it and do work and make bit money. But what I'm saying is, where I want to be, and I'm wanting you to be, I want everyone to be there, is how do you get to be passionate about it? With Tony Robbins, that's what he spoke about, you know, live life with passion has been his catchphrase for 35 years, right? How can you, do you want that? Do you want that, Luke?
Yes.
Okay, right, okay.
Yeah, yes. So I'm being purposely down there, but yes, yeah.
Luke,
I really do want to connect.
I see so many startups, and the startups that do well have a degree of urgency. They got up at 5 a.m. They're like, I've got to get this done. They burnt all their boats. They're like, just kind of like, when I see a bit too lackadaisical and like, I'll be all right, we've got tomorrow. It doesn't tend to work. I'm not going to say that's general, but when I see urgency, that's the spark that kind of is needed in the ingredients.
Can I add my downer to all these conversations?
Oh,
I know I'm going to say something. It's like, at the end of the day, I think it's great what you the avatars that you described, Luke. But I think realistically, do these people have the money to pay you? Probably not. Do you want to make some money, or do you need to make some money by offering this service? Probably yes. So I would say, or it makes sense to get the ready ones. Ready one meaning they are ready to be coached. So you find the ready ones. Not the one who thinks, oh, life is shit, and you know, can you cheer me up? And maybe you have, it's like you find the ready ones who want to be coached, who are able to pay you, And maybe that is an option then for you to really create an offering for these young people, really deserving ones. But unless you get funding, unless you really enter that segment and say, I want to, get some funding to be able to coach these people, this segment, then that's fine. But otherwise, you won't be able to make a living out of that. So sometimes you need well-paying customers. They also give you satisfaction because you kind of coach them in the area where you have expertise. That then allows you to create an offering for a deserving group that probably don't make any money, but it gives you a lot of satisfaction. So another tier.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's very insightful. Yes.
Can I just throw something in? There's a lot of good suggestions in terms of free sessions or getting started. Google Business is a really good one. But Alex Hormozy had one where he said he started his PT business, and he said he wasn't sure if the model was a fit, and that whole thing about money. So he said he got, I think it was 3 or 6 people, something like that, got to pay $1,000 each. I think it was 3 months to a charity of their choice. So they had skin in the game. So he wasn't actually charged them; he was doing it for free, but they had skin in the game because they were paying the charity. And then he said, all I want is your feedback, not even testimonials, I want your feedback. He said, I'm testing a new thing here. I just need your feedback. That's, if you're willing to do that, I'm willing to coach you for free as long as you pay this money to your charity. They do it for 3 months. And then he said some of those then carried on, except the $1,000 was now going to him. And there's other strategies around increasing your money. But that's one way to test it. Go in there with it's like doing it for free, but you're not really doing it for free. They have to value it because they're paying money to a charity of their choice. So just throwing that one in there.
Yeah, that's a great one, actually. I like that.
So Luke, just feedback on your choices. I know they're off the top of your head sort of thing, but like Helena was saying, I'm not so sure the groups that you mentioned you enjoy coaching or you've done recently quite a lot of are necessarily groups which have got deep pockets. So if you were going to go down that line, I think to Gary's point, you might want to start a YouTube channel and sort of try and offer this sort of stuff in a very group public way. So you're sort of essentially offering it for free and trying to grow a channel for monetization.
Luke, here's a book you might not have read, and it's one of my favourites. It's called How to Sell to the Affluent. I don't want to give it away, but the first story is about Paris Hilton and how she built a dog kennel that cost 1.5 million. And wouldn't you have liked to have been the carpenter for that? It goes through different avatars of people with a lot of money, and it's a brilliant. It's one of my favourites. How to Sell to the Affluent. So good.
Okay, that's a great recommendation. I haven't heard of that before, so I will get that book.
I want to add also that in this world, you can make money doing anything. Enough money doing anything is pretty much been demonstrated. I don't need to say I've done it. You can just see it everywhere. And it's all, and the idea, if you has been proposed, a YouTube channel gets thousands followers. There will be people who find you and who can afford that service, right? So there's definitely that to it, and I think you've alluded to that, guys. But also there are charities and not-for-profits that need figureheads, that need and have money to spend on solutions, whether that's you training other people to deliver that, on a local council basis or whatever else. There's in those categories you said, if they are your chosen categories, it's the biggest challenge you've got is making a decision which one and getting going. That's the biggest challenge I see, because that's where everybody sort of hesitates, because they're thinking that they're limiting themselves instead of opening up something. So yeah. So what I'm trying to say is you can do those things. You can, and you can make enough money. Your financial goal is actually quite easy, in my opinion, for you, that you have. It's only £50 an hour. And the other thing is, and I do agree with what you said, Adam, about too many coaches, not enough customers. But the bottom line is, the reason that is the case is because most coaches can't communicate their value, can't help people get clear about their outcome. So, you know, if bottom line is, I listened to one of Daniel Priestley's webinars this week, and he's always good value for time. I hadn't done one for ages. I made loads of notes, and I think I thought they were going to send a link out, recording of it. I haven't seen the link yet. I just did a quick search for it, but it's worth you watching that. And one of the takeaways for me was that your value is what's the word he used? Two things is subjective, because basically one person will say, I'm not willing. It was Esther Perel used as an example. 3 famous people were asked, how much would you pay? Esther Perel, she's the guru, and one said, well, I wouldn't pay anything. One said, I'd pay about £1,000. The other one said, I'd pay £50,000. Yeah, so it's like different people have different perspectives of everyone's value. Adam said it the best when he said about, you know, outcome focused. That would mean being very focused on one particular outcome or a problem everyone has. You might want to be doing more different stuff, or variety might be important to you in your coaching. What was really interesting that came up also tonight was, and this is what Daniel said, who's it easiest to sell to? Is it someone who doesn't know they've got a problem, and you come along and help clarify that they have got a problem and that they do want to get from A to B, as in they have a dormant problem, or someone's actively seeking a solution for the problem? And he's proposed that it's dormant, not active, which is a very, very interesting conversation, but it's worth watching to find out why that is. But I hope that's helpful, and we've got another 5 minutes. So final thoughts from everybody. I've given you mine. A couple of minutes each.
Yeah, I just want to add for you, Luke, as well, to really have a close look the relationship that you have with money, because I think it really holds you back. That there are beliefs at work that might really hold you back for asking more for what you are able to provide for.
Okay, thank you. I will look at that. And
I've got a book that I can
right
share as well. Look, I've got a book that I can share with you. Yeah.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you.
I think it is a different transition going from being a salaried person or even dealing with a business-to-business transaction and asking for money, to actually asking it from an individual at a significant amount of money. So I think, to Helena's point, yeah, you probably need to work on how you feel about that and how you value that, and to my original point, being very specific. And if you know your ideal client really well and their problem really well, you also know their objections really well, so that you can, even when they are objecting, you can authentically sort of move them past that objection to the solution, because you know them really well. If you sell coaching as a process and you don't necessarily know their particular circumstance well, it's a lot harder to sort of encourage them along to the outcome that they need.
Thank you.
You're on mute, Alistair.
Yeah, I think I agree with all of this stuff. And somebody mentioned YouTube. I think somebody mentioned LinkedIn last week. And TikTok, I know you're active on, Luke, and with personal stuff, but just create content on whatever platform you feel most comfortable with. Get started, because it's the outcome based is one way, the kind of towards motivation, but the away from, what is the problem that you are best placed to solve, that you want to be known for, I think you can use social media to help uncover that. And you enjoy doing Sundays at 6. So you enjoy creating content, but maybe in a different way, in more of a purposeful way that leads into coaching. And as has been mentioned, your wide breadth of personal development, NLP, all that kind of stuff.
Thank you.
Have I got your permission to be very direct?
Of course.
Okay. What's holding you back?
What's holding me back?
Yeah.
Laziness, I think. Mainly just laziness.
I was hoping for the answer. Just you are holding you back. You've got all the skills. You've got everything you need. You're very, very likable. You're authentic. I believe that once you've got your first couple under your belt, you're going to smash it. Only you're holding you back, nothing else.
Yeah, that's true.
The world is your oyster.
Thank you very much, Gary. Appreciate that.
I'm excited.
I concur with Gary there. The other thing that just popped up into me is about owning the identity, of being a coach. I mean, I think of myself as a coach, but if I was going to become a coach full time or even part time, I would probably need to get that identity out and shine it. Now, that sounds a bit of a strange one. I've never said that before, but to get the identity out and to recommit to that identity and to do things that help me own it. I mean, you gave me one tip with this, Luke. You said about I'm the sort of person who, yeah. So it's about if I'm a coach, what would I be doing? I'd be telling people I was a coach, right? I would be teaching people coaching skills just as I went along. I just think that's. You talked to me also about walking around the building like a boss, right? How do you walk around the building like a coach, right? So it's about owning that. My feedback for you, I think one of the greatest pieces you've got is to seek to ignite your passion around this. I think that's really going to make a difference.
Okay, thank you.
And remember, every day you don't get out there and help people, you're not serving them, and they want to be helped.
That is so true.
Awesome. We have 5 minutes left. So,
can I add something else? Just quickly. I think maybe you shouldn't get too much focused on coaching per se as well. I mean, with coaching, you influence one person, 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on how many you coach, right? But I can see you as well, very well in sort of a public domain or like leading a workshop, a group of people and sort of becoming I'm not saying motivational speaker, but really sort of influencing young people in a different way as well, other than necessarily just coaching. So coaching might be a sort of an entry point, which then will develop in something else, which brings you a lot of joy and maybe allows you to work with the group of people that you want to work with. So maybe don't just think in terms of coach as a profile.
Thank you. Yeah, that is very helpful actually. Maybe have more than one prong on my fork.
Facilitator, workshop leader.
Mm-hmm.
Luke, I almost forgot. What is the one thing you're going to do as a big action as a result of this session?
Oh, I'm going to do a few things, but the one thing I'm definitely going to commit to do is the Google Business Profile. So I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to say, right. So I'll have to have a name or something, but that I will do that.
Can I just add in there from a bit of experience? They're a bit fussy on that. Google Business Profile is designed for local businesses, i.e. shop fronts. So if you haven't got a shop front, they can be very funny about even giving you a profile. So be very aware of the fact that you wouldn't necessarily be able to set it up from a home address without proof that there was a way, a customer entrance, and that you have to do.
You've got
videos
nothing
and
to
stuff like
lose
that.
here. Luke, during COVID, I invested all my time. My hair was short, and by the end of COVID, it was long. That's all I spent my time on doing Google Business Profile. Something I can help you with. And you're right, it is tricky, but just try it, just see. But you are right.
Okay.
Right pain.
That's the one thing, Luke, but I want more than that from you tonight. So what else? You said there's more than one thing. Give us some more things.
I will refine my proposition. I will refine it so that it's outcome based. I'm thinking I want to do something that's very similar to personal training, but or in the coaching. So it's like personal training, but for your mind.
A friend of mine.
Hmm?
Sorry, Luke. I was just saying, a friend of mine, before he does a website, he does a Google Doc. So could you do like a one-pager based on tonight of what you think your proposition is?
Okay. Thank you.
That's two things, Luke. So it's one more thing than everybody else, but could you go another one and give us a third?
Lord knows, I'm on the spot here. Can you suggest a third?
But there's been lots of suggestions, but it's really about what you want to own in this rather than us prompt you. Just take a few seconds. But sometimes you have to process that, come back to it. Maybe that third thing won't come right now. Maybe it will, but I want to remind everyone while Luke's thinking about that we have Discord, we have the channel. I know some of you have been less engaged than others, but you can use it as a way of staying connected with this particular mastermind, these particular people, and you can still share your outcomes in it, your progress in it, and any thoughts you may have for others, and you can share content to it. It will either get loved or ignored. That's fine. Don't go too crazy with it though. The content, that is. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Was there a third thing that's come to mind, Luke, while I've been chatting?
Not fully formed, but
Can I give you a suggestion? How would you feel? How would you feel if you were to offer a workshop for the group of people that you have in mind to a charity or a council?
oh, I could do that. Yeah. Offering it to a council or a charity. Yeah, let's do that. In fact, that's a good one. Offering it to a charity would be good. I think a lot of charities might take that up, like Shelter perhaps, or something like that. Yeah.
A workshop, I think, is easier to and you get feedback.
Yeah. That's good.
So just want to add to that then. So what comes first for me is deciding on the niche for now. You can change that if you want later, just because it's not like you're not stuck with it. And then building clear about that avatar, what that person is and what the problem they have. And then deciding which charity you want to target, because that will guide you. And then when you go to that charity, you will be spot on with them and they're just going to say yes to you.
Okay.
All right, 9 o'clock. Gotta go, everyone.
Lovely.
Thank you so much again for playing full out, for sharing your and being transparent and vulnerable and all the rest of it that you've done. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to run this new version of Mastermind. You were the very first group, and I will do it again, and I hope that you're all part of it again when we kickstart it again in the autumn. And thanks for playing full out, and I look forward to seeing and catching up with all of you individually soon.
Thank you all.
Right.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you, Carl.
Thanks, Carl.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you,
Thanks for
Carl.
all the advice. Cheers, guys.
Have a great week.
Have a
Bye-bye.
nice holiday.
Enjoy Miami, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.